But I really don't eat it very often. If you looked at like my DoorDash, it would be mostly Vietnamese, I think, because I almost always have a hankering for, or if I don't know what I want, this is always a good like end game, is either a banh mi or some pho. So that's more my weakness. Not so much like hamburgers or anything. All right, in the bottom left of Andromeda, we do have the Terran player Liquid Clem. And on the top right, we do have Team Falcon Solar. Someone asked me what my favorite fast food chain was, and yeah, I didn't have that good of an answer, but I do feel like if I get fast food, like Taco Bell is up there. Although we got Taco Bell here one time, and it was disgusting. And I think it was just the Taco Bell, like the particular restaurant. But maybe my taste buds have changed. Is also a possibility. Although no, because we had Taco Bell in Las Vegas when we were all being degenerates, and that was just as I remembered it, which is very satisfying when you're hanging out with friends and drinking a little bit and all that. So, yeah, good old chalupa. Those are good. Vietnamese is better. I feel like Vietnamese, you can't go wrong. You can get your spicy stuff, you can get your plain stuff, you can get your broth, you can get your noodles, you can get your rice, you can get your meat, you can get your vegetarian, you can get your sweet. I fucking love. I think my favorite dessert is it's taking a while to realize. I think my favorite dessert is mango sticky rice. She's delicious. And then maybe second favorite dessert is probably like blueberry pie and ice cream. But the first one probably is mango sticky rice. It's great. All right, so we got an SCV scout for Clem, who might actually be a little wary of solar cheesing. It seems like he might use this to... Oh, no, he's not. Okay, never mind. Maybe he wanted to see the drone go, but that drone already went. That drone gone. So it's possible that he meant to block out the hatchery at least a little bit, and it was unsuccessful. It is Clem, and while we've witnessed now 3 TVZs, it's the first one with Clem. And Clem is almost guaranteed to win TVZs. It's a bit ridiculous, but it's not exactly untrue. People who can give him a hard time include Cyril and Raynor. And on a good day, it does include Solar. I will say Solar has had some very good games versus Clem. But recently, I believe this has been Clem favored. So I think that'll be the case yet still. No idea how the maps favor one race or another. All I've really taken from the maps we've seen in the Monday Night Weeklies, as well as other Open Cups that have tried the new maps, is that they're all a bit basic. The one that I like might actually be this one, just because I think it is a shorter map with a more interesting layout, where a lot of the other ones are very typical. This still doesn't have a lot of doodads, which is a bit unfortunate in my mind, but at least the layout's cool, and I think it is a shorter map. And yeah, I do play Terran and then Protoss and then not very much Zerg, so of course I would be fine with shorter maps where Zerg players are all complaining. Stupid Zerg players. But seriously, I do feel like if you're going to have a drastic change for StarCraft 2, it's going to be in the size of maps. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe one day someone, a dictator comes around and makes a new map pool that is nothing but 30-second and under rush distances, and it's terrible. No one has any fun. Zerg just lose every game, and Terrans still go 3cc. Could happen, but I would like to see an attempt, because I would really like to believe that there is more action in StarCraft if you don't just give a bunch of room, which I would prefer at this point. Because I don't think we're going to get to some ideal great early game, great mid game, great late game in StarCraft 2 without significant changes to the game itself. So as much as it would be like, we'd love to be like Brood War, where every part of the TDZ is interesting, meh, which is only true for some games, by the way. Brood War people really have a habit of making it sound like every game in Brood War is amazing, and it's really not. But anyway, probably happens more than StarCraft 2. That I'd be willing to admit. I don't know if it's going to happen, but what I know can happen is like rushes and chaos and crazy new play styles, because the maps can change drastically. And changing drastically, like, in a macro sense, making them all have, like, guaranteed 5 bases, and then, everyone has 12 bases on either side of the map. That just sounds boring as hell. So definitely don't go that direction. Anyway, we got a fast layer coming in for Solar, fast-ish, but he has been doing a lot of Spire builds with the new patch, I guess, and the new maps, maybe. And we could be having that yet again. I like Zerg's going for Spire. Do I think it's actually more viable? That but I like that they're attempting. I do think it creates more of the action that we like in the mid game when you go for a Spire. Anyway, I'm leaning more and more towards the Spire. Although we don't have a lot of gas, so maybe, but we don't have any upgrades. We don't have any evolution chambers on the way. So, well, okay, now they're on the way. Hellion opener into 2 Banshees with Cloak, not Hyperflight Rotors. 4 bases trying to be set up here, appropriately defended by the looks of things. And perhaps, Solar is not going to go in Aspire. Damn. Wouldn't have called it if it wasn't that he was going for it a decent amount lately. I mean, it's still not... No, that's pretty impossible, actually. He has got to build Baneling speed and double upgrades, because he did actually add on the evolution chambers, and the layer wasn't that fast. It was fast enough to give him an Overseer. Had a good time deal with this Cloaked Banshee shit. Just being a little annoying. Hellion's also being a little annoying. Unlikely to kill an entire hatchery, but not impossible. 2 Banshees end up surviving, having done minimal damage. Units lost, even enough. Regular opener to TDZ. And it is just a good old-fashioned Ling Baneling. 1-1 upgrades will be way faster for Clem. He manages to find a queen, maybe 2. Not quite. Transfuse is available. As Clem is up on 3 bases now, he is ready to get to the double drop phase. Second factory coming down, Lickety Split has really taken over the meta. Into the 4th CC. Ling Baneling Hydra will be the play for Solar. And that first attack is on the way. It's going to include not Hellbats, but Hellions, which is still a little bit extra for the attack. A couple of Widow Mines involved as well. Baneling speed will be done, no problem. So, Solar shouldn't take a lot of damage to this. 2 Queens do go down instantly. Overseer also going to get popped. Take what you can get before the Banelings go roly-poly on in here. Widow Mine is going to be decent. Not great. Another Queen will go down. Perhaps a 4th Queen as well. Not quite. Those Banelings are doing a good job protecting that last one. But 4 Queens in total actually did go down, so that would have been the 5th one. Clem, relentless with the aggression as he macros near perfectly back at home. We're paired up the 2 Banshees so they can help out any run-bys. 2 more drops out off to that right side to the very vulnerable 5th base that Solar is trying to get. As Solar also desperately tries to hold on to his units. On the left side, the Banelings were being target fired, but not nearly fast enough, so not going to win right there, but the fact there's only 2 Banelings left is not a good sign. And the drop down to the bottom side was predicted correctly by Solar, who does send units at the right time. It looks like a prediction anyway. He might have reacted, but still. Double drop. Not a new thing here. Question is, can Solar split perfectly every single time? Widow Mine is going to get popped. Clem not able to micro that from going off on a single Ling, and so this drop is not finding a lot of success, but now the top side has Hellbats, not just Hellions. Widow Mine's burrowing up very, very close. Marines running away from the Banelings. Banelings all get popped. No more Banelings. That's a bit dangerous, but also no more healing, and the Marines are fully surrounded on equal upgrades, so they are going to force those Marines back. Solar is handling this. I mean, it's about as well as you can. There's always the butt clench moments when you see very limited Banelings, when you see the Widow Mines take great shots, but Solar is managing things. He is getting up to a Hydra count. He is saturating his 5th base. He is keeping some creep spread going, despite all the aggression. Clem is not taking any damage himself, of course, while dealing a little bit of damage here. These 2 Banshees arrived. The off-timing Banshees, always a surprise. Kill 6 drones, and then skedaddle to once again help for any run-by potential, which there have been no attempts. Solar solely focused on the defense. which again is going fine enough. So they're also trying to get up to those lurkers, which would be a real hard line to cross for Clem if they ever made their way out. And that is still dangerous because they won't have any other upgrades. Double drop on the top side has been officially cleared up. These are just medevacs hanging around. And more emphasis on the bottom side as Clem also expands. Takes a planetary to the 4th base off to the right, focusing all of his intentions perhaps now on this base with the very limited creep spread, trying to fix that currently. Solar is back up to 8 queens. They do have to traverse some non-creep spread areas, though, so we're a little bit slow. Clem's not going to be able to catch that, although it was kind of close. And actually is not going to head totally south. And choose this little avenue here. Maybe abuse the choke a little bit. Nice Widowmine shot there. This one also going to get a decent shot. I mean, Clem might be expanding down to the bottom half of the map, but considering his aggression up to the top, Widowmines, ooh, that's a good shot on the Lings right there. Not enough friendly fire for the Zerg to be happy about that. And the Hydra's definitely not protected enough. They all get slaughtered. Solar needs way more up to the top side. A little bit late to realize that perhaps. Baneling's getting sniped here. Hydra count is pretty good, but that is a lot of medevac healing. Widowmine helps with the medevacs, though. That friendly fire on injured medevacs kills. I think there was 2 of them. Significantly injures the rest. We got the Banshees now coming in to help as well against what is only Hydras. Scan ahead reveals no Lings, very few Banelings in creation. We got 2-2 versus 2-1 as well. And Clem finds an opportunity to overwhelm. Solar is dwindling on that supply. The Banelings do force the pickup. Those are some Hail Mary Banelings right there. That was... They didn't look like they would do a lot, but 2 Banelings forcing a pickup does give a little room to breathe. I don't think it's enough, but that would have been game over then. It might still be game over now. That is a lot of bio and not a lot of Zerg. So much of the Zerg also still trying to deflect drops on the bottom side. And there you have it. Clem will win game 1 in Clem fashion. GG's. This isn't a guaranteed win, but he is 80% likely to win a best of 3 against Solar. I mean, that's about as close as you can get. Because that's what's going to happen. Every time a map maker dares to make a unique map, even if there's an entire genre for voting for weird maps, only one wins, and then only one is put into the map pool, and then that one is just vetoed. So you gotta make it all or none. In the bottom left, it is Clem. In the top right, it is Solar, and we are once again on Throne of the Something, because I never remember what it is. Throne of the Something. Winner of this advances to the upper bracket finals, which will most likely be Max Packs, but Percival is facing Max Packs after defeating Hero 2-1. I do think Max Packs is better than Hero at PvT, but it's different. And, you know, nothing that I really know about Percival says that maybe the difference is still more, is still better for him. Maybe he's actually better versus Max Packs than Hero. I don't know. But in general, it's very often Max Packs versus Clem in the upper bracket finals, isn't it? Not to totally disregard Solar, which is being very rude right now, but it is very difficult for Solar to win versus Clem these days. Every so often has a great game, great back and forth, great display of defense versus offense, but much more likely are games like that, in which Solar really starts struggling from minute 1, but that's not unique to Solar. Everyone starts to struggle versus Clem's aggression around that 6.5-ish minute mark, depending on what build he opted for. But once he gets going with Marines and Medevacs, then that's when it's like, oh god. And Solar occasionally is able to turn the tide, get a really convincing battle that then sends the game into a spiral for Clem, and those are the games that he wins. But so much more often it does look like that last game, which is just struggle, really struggle, and then game over. Drones going either direction. Clem was once again waiting with the SCV to try and block out, or at least confirm the third hatch is there. This is a map where I guess you can take either one, and Solar, that's a second drone that was going up to the top side, was kind of maybe a fake. No block hatchery. Seems like maybe Clem is adding the block hatchery tactic more often. And Solar has picked up on that and is trying to stop it from being an annoyance. Triple CC from Clem. I mean, this guy's TVZ is so good that while maybe there are some arguments against the SCV Scout that turns into the annoying block hatchery, Reaper then kills the drone, then maybe even if you really are having a good time, you even build a bunker sometimes, and you really, especially on bases where you can't take the fourth as a third. There's arguments against doing it at all, even attempting it. My view is, if you're not a professional player, you should probably always SCV Scout and always try and block the hatchery and be freaking annoying with it. Because the loss of economy does not matter. Even if you're Grandmaster, I don't think it matters. But when you get to professional, then it's like, well, that might matter. Maybe you do want the economy a little bit when you're facing, like, Cyril, I guess. But then it feels like Clem has gone above. He's gone beyond. And now we're back to, like, you know, he's so good that even if his economy isn't absolutely perfect in the early game, he probably still wins. And he can be an annoying little SCV as well. So I like that he's adding it in. I don't know if he does it that often versus Cyril, though. That might be the difference. We'll never know, because Cyril doesn't join these things. Cyril. Once again, a Hellion Banshee opener. It worked out well last time. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Blah, blah. The Banshees even were able to dip in every once in a while on some of the main engagements and add just a little bit extra. A couple of drones, a couple of Hydras, a couple of Lings. And with any other Terran, I would have said some of those moments were F2s that went well. You F2 the Banshees, and you go, oh, shit, I F2 the Banshees. But they killed 7 Hydras, so okay, fair enough. But I think with him, it's actually very much on purpose. If he's not being attacked by run-bys, he's going to bring more of his units to the front line. 6 Hellions will be the opener, and then everything else is just basic Terran stuff behind it. Cloak will finish up in a second here as one queen already very low thanks to the Hellions. Does go down. More queens are on the front line, and that's going to be enough to push this back. Solar's general Hellion Banshee defense was good last game. It's fine. Well, maybe not fine right now. No, the Lings are there. Clem looking for the opening, finds Lings prepared instead, and will be punished. Losing all but 2 Hellions, and maybe the Reaper survives. Nah, it's goner. It's a goner. The Hellions not going to die as the Banshees do cover their tracks. But still, that is less available for the first Marine drop. Last game, he kept those Hellions. I think there was 5, I want to say. Maybe 4 Hellions that were left behind the double drop that he could have run back to. And then once his armory was done, that's when he brought them forward as Hellbats. And that's just a really clever way of using your Hellions, which now you can't do at all. The Hellions are all dead. So this is a better early game for Solar. 4th hatchery is under fire, but so unlikely for that to die. So unlikely. So unlikely. It's so unlikely, guys. It is so unlikely. You don't even know how unlikely. At the end of the day, the queen will go down. But, you know, worst case scenario, the hatchery is going to be transfused. I am a little surprised that Overseer just felt like it took forever to actually come over. The Banshees will skedaddle. Both will be repaired up and once again be that anti-run-by defense. And if there's no run-bys, bring them to the front line a little bit. This map, I think, should look a little better for Solar. It does look bigger to me. Again, it's all based off vibes, though. But also, I feel like it's less claustrophobic. There's less chokes and hallways for the Terran to abuse. More open spaces for the Zerg to try and do something. This run-by is going to find a decent amount of SCVs by the looks of things, but then we do have Marine action on the other side. The Queen maybe went down right there. Marines of the second stim are pretty injured and without combat shields as well. Without their 1-1 too, going for speed over the most powerful army possible. Did not find a lot of success, although I feel like I could see how it almost did. Yeah, a lot of the queens are getting low. Ling's starting to run out. Hydra's alone, not the best, but at the end of the day, that speed did not work out. And Clem will have to wait until those are healed up with all of their upgrades done to really find more efficiency with those. Double factory, again, prioritized into the 4th command center, so we already have a triple Widow Mine. Drilling Claw should be on the way soon, too. Infestation Pit has started for Solar. Looks like he's setting up for that lurker den. Okay with that drone. Fine. And a 5th base for Solar as well, as he is at 78 drones after the Banshees find just a couple more again. One taking significant damage is going to go down. Last second micro, just barely enough energy as he get that cloak. Hot damn. Clem with the attack on the top side and also maneuvering his army to the bottom. Solar is going to have to traverse a wide area to defend both 4th and 5th, and that 4th is really significantly injured from the Banshees. Yeah, it was never going to go down to the Banshees, but being at half health against aggression could be problematic. Wouldn't mind pops off, not super well so far, but the Marines are doing their thing, killing some of those queens on the front, reinforcing Hydra's also going down, but that is enough Zerg to hold, as Lings hold against the drop, although maybe, yeah, I guess they've got to control those. +2 Carapace was the emphasis, not the double upgrades with melee, but rather upgrade armor, and then also for the Hydras, getting to that +1 missile, now getting into the +1 melee. 4th base is already down for Clem, shortly turning into a planetary. 2-2, a little bit late there for Clem, so that's some good news going for Solar. That armor is not nearly as fast as the weapons, but we all know weapons is the preferred one anyway. Love the addition of the Infestors. We'll see how that works out. Woodman's getting taken down before they can actually get a shot off. Of course, Clem did see those Infestors, tries a pre-split, does get fungled on a medevac, but really not bad at all. Just needs to be very careful about going up ramps and keeping your army clumped up. 2 Infestors is it. It's all on the bottom side as we still have a drop to the top, but that's a decent number of Ling Hydra. One of mine's be taken care of as well. Drilling Claws is in fact done. And we got Clem almost maxed out. Solar almost maxed out. Solar had he's got a hive. He actually skipped Banelings, which really should have been more of an emphasis of mine. Sorry, but that did happen. Last game, the Banelings, they did end up helping at some points. Other points, they felt like they weren't helping at all. And we have seen some effectiveness from Zerg players when they do skip that Baneling nest. And how much they can just skyrocket up to the advanced technology. A lot of Widowmines went down before the fight really occurred, but still plenty to help out. And just the brick wall of 2-1 bio against not enough Lings, not enough Hydra pressure either. More Link coming in here now, however, should be able to clean this up. And again, Solar up on that hive with lurkers and the upgrades and the hatcheries still alive. Lurkers, though, not enough of them to protect themselves, do go down. Nice catch there by Clem. Does get fungal, but not enough of a follow-up, I believe. Yeah, no, Hydra's coming in here to really get the true punish on the medevacs, and Clem will be able to escape. He got 2 lurkers with that, so at the end of the day, that's actually not too bad, even though the most of the army was cleared up. More lurkers are on the way, though, and more upgrades for those lurkers, too, means that, 2 and maybe a spine or just a handful of lings or a spore. Probably going to handle most of the double drops. It's going to be more about the big main engagements as lurkers get added in, but they are trickling in very slowly. This one on the front lines targeted but not killed. No Marauder slow, by the way. Clem seems to have forgotten that. A lot of bio still here. A lot of medevacs, really. Not a lot of bio. Is going to flee from just a mass amounts of 1-2 Hydras. Lurkers also, well, there's only 2 of them for now. There could be 6 forming for all you know, so you do have to respect that. And Clem is already making his way up to Ghost. He's about to be at 9, but those lurkers making the offensive push. It's what's really scary about this. Lings on the right side not finding a lot of efficiency. Mostly Hydra lurker trying to push through this choke. Maybe at the best time possible. This isn't really how Clem wanted to defend. He wanted to have those ghosts ready to tackle the lurkers before the choke was abused. Now the command center is in trouble. That 100% is going to go down. Way too many Hydras. Stop that. Clem in a lot of trouble, in fact. Fungal also coming down on some of these ghosts. He's down in supply. He's out of this game. Solar strikes back. And we'll tie up the series with some Banelingless play into some pretty quick lurkers. Why no tanks? I mean, tanks aren't the counter to Hydras, really. If that's what you're thinking. Like, oh, they're so efficient versus Hydras. I mean, they're okay. Obviously, they outrange them and they deal splash damage. But they're a very different type of army. If you build tanks, you're building a siege army. When you build a siege army, you gotta play it slow and steady. That doesn't really favor the action that Clem was looking for in that game, which was just rapid fire, 2 different attacks on either side of the map, drops, engage, engage, engage. Woodamine's hoping to pop off when his rig isn't paying attention. And the Hydras, really aren't scary a lot of the time if there's nothing with them. In that game, the Hydra count got kind of insane. The bio count started to dwindle. The Hydras looked good. But a lot of the time, the goal more so is to clear out the mainling, often. And then, if you're bio medevac 2-2 versus nothing but Hydras at 1-2, I mean, you're usually pretty happy about that. Okay, this is a very interesting map. I like it. I haven't seen this one yet. Mothership. In the top left, we have Clem. And then in the 6th o'clock position, I guess it is Solar. I guess I'll move it that way. He prefers the ADHD army, exactly. So this is interesting. So we got ourselves, one of these maps where... Is it a 3-player spawn? It might be a 3-player spawn as well. It looks that way. Okay, very cool. I like it. So a 3-player spawn map. If you spawn like they did, then it kind of is like the a little bit of a U shape, but really not as classical U shape as some of the other maps we've had. I don't know why Arena comes to mind right now, but it does for some reason. There's other newer U-shaped maps that we've played on. There's just so much dead space in the bottom left, I think is what's really freaky about it. And it seems like the idea is that you're actually on a kind of like a mothership. Not quite able to make the exact form of it, but I think that's the idea. As far as your progression here, okay, so first of all, Clem is going for forward 2 racks. He is rattling to the correct location, but weirdly enough, not SCV scouting on the map that has the possible 3rd player spawn. Yeah, so you go into your natural, that's normal, chokes natural at the natural, chokes normal at the natural, into your 3rd, over here or over here. Now, as a Zerg player facing Terran, generally you want to expand away from your opponent. But you probably still have to take this as your 4th. Yeah. SCV scout did happen, so I just mistimed that. It does scout correctly right off the bat. I have no idea what is closer. It's very possible that no base is closer, rush distance-wise. I would then go to what's more abusable by Reapers, and I would guess this is you're heading right towards your opponent's base from your 2 racks into the Reaper hop-up spot. At this point, Solar does know the openers. Overlord did go to the right location. First off, most importantly, he has already sent the drone over to take the 3rd. So now it's about losing as little as possible. I wondered if Clem could go after the 3rd with the 3rd Reaper on the way. I feel like it's very possible to get a cancel if he had. Because those queens weren't going to, start their progress over there. Oh, and a Reaper goes down. Ooh. Ooh, is Clem messing up a little bit. He's diving hard for that queen. Does not end up getting it. But yeah, and it's also, it seems like it's so far away as far as 3rds go. So I feel like he could have canceled it. Obviously wanted to go for something, arguably more guaranteed, maybe. Like the queen did almost go down, but instead Clem loses a Reaper, almost lost the 2nd one, saves it, moves on to a 3CC build behind this, into a couple of Hellions. A Roach Warrant just gets slapped down for Solar pretty early on. Is he thinking about a Roach Ravager all in? I don't know how the rush distance here, but yeah, you put it in there, and then you, I think that's what you would do, and then you go up there. Or maybe you go from here over here and then down and then up. But you wouldn't want to be going up a ramp when you're attacking. Interesting. Well, this could just be a bit of a fake. I mean, you show some roaches, then you actually drone behind it. 6 roaches this early, 7 roaches this early on. Okay, he's gonna go for the attack. Okay, so at the end of the day, if Clem doesn't pick up on this, then Clem could just have nothing to defend against it, and so that always works. analysis of the map aside here, that could work. It is not going to be very dedicated. More drones are on the way. But it is going to be a decent amount of units heading across the map. Clem will have to react to this. He does indeed. Bunkers are on the way. He really doesn't have a strong defense. So although this isn't going to be a fully committed, you know, lings just coming forth over and over again, at least, well, I spoke too soon, maybe. Rounds out the drones at 37. No, nothing but lings on the way. It could be. Only one Ravager, but another one is forming as well. He wants to get to 3, right? 3 is usually the magic number. And this does actually get more committed. So more committed, then obviously you need bunkers. Other than that, Banshees would have been lovely. Don't have Banshees here. He went for a Liberator first. Canceled that when he realized he was being all in. Now building a Banshee. Might just come out in the nick of time. No stim for you, good sir, but that's okay because this is an all-in for sure. More lings are on the way. Solar looking to end it here. Doesn't want to play a macro game versus Clem 3rd time in a row. Clem just trying to get as many units out as possible, even if those Hellings don't look very useful. They actually are. Lings are a very important part of this this build. The Roach Ravager breaks open the natural, and the Lings come in. Mass repair is going to happen on this bunker to the south on the top side. No good there, but Banshee getting a lot of damage done. Bunker on the south side is going to hold as Ravagers are going to get it done. But that was a long time for the Marines to deal a lot of damage. Hellions also barbecuing up those Lings. Ravager is now left mostly alone, still dying to the Banshee, and this seems like a hold to me. Although 21 SCVs did go down. That's about the amount that I say a Zerg player can try and play a macro game from. Ideally, you win as the Zerg player in this situation. But if that can't happen, then at least killing over 20 SCVs. Well, really with 3CC, I want to say 30 is better. This was a reach, though. This was a reach from Clem. Clem trying to chase after the retreating units, hoping that Solar had 0 other army units, was trying to go into droning much faster than he was. Does get the Marine taken down, does get the Hellion taken down, and even misrally some more Marines into the fray. I assume a misrally. Maybe he thought that would have been what, you know, tipped it over. That made it a little more awkward. I mean, the problem is that even if he had saved those units, the Marines and the Hellions obviously would be great to save because he does want some map control. He does want some threat on the Zerg side of the map, clearing out the creep spread, checking for the Ling numbers, checking for the drone numbers, right? A little bit of scouting. A little bit of map control, protects your third so it can be slapped down. The Hellions are the biggest loss right there. The Marines, I was just going to say less so because you weren't really going to be able to use the Marines. Stim was canceled. No Medivacs would be out anytime soon. But still, that is Marines lost, maybe not as efficiently as you would like. At least they did trade out. It's a tough game to call for both sides at this point. 21 SCVs, as I said, is I feel like the bare minimum for a Zerg player to say, okay, I have a shot. 30 is when you start feeling like you have the, you know, the advantage maybe, and maybe even that's a strong word, but you're feeling better. And then obviously like 40, you really are just winning the game. But 20, we'll see how it goes. Spire is on the way, and I love that choice for the positions that they're in. I think this will be very abusable. It also kind of continues the chaos, as the Terran is very unlikely to have a push with Stim canceled and Marine count reset. You're not going to be desperately holding against a push as you try to build up to your muta count. You will have time to get to mutas. They will have time to go across the map, and they will have time to do something. It looks like Clem has either predicted it. Yeah, I think he just predicted it. The map, the situation, the way the Solar's been playing recently. He has already built missile turrets, which is a pretty good start for him. Pretty big difference between having the missile turret there ready and being completely shocked by the mutas. 3 Banshees were created, so he did add an extra one. That's not too useful against the mutas, obviously, but still helpful for maybe some of the run-bys. An attack is on the way. His stim is done. Combat shield's just starting. 1-1's going to be done for Clem, too, as Solar is going to be way later to the upgrades. That was his choice. Bandling speed is only halfway done as well, and the tank situation is a bit scary. 2 tanks sieging up that 4th base already. The mutas trying to go across the map. I thought they were going to have their own little moment before the attack came, but Clem possibly just acknowledging that that would be ideal for Solar. Attacks first. The mutas take the risky maneuver, go across the map anyway, and that might have just been the right call. Not a lot of Marines for the Terran player to defend. I'm trying to cast as my cat just like walks over my arm, onto my lap, onto the keyboard, through the mic. You done? He's done. Well, if you guys heard that, don't worry about it. He's okay. He's fine. Although I think it hit my heater, and it's making a burning smell, so that's less fine. But I unplugged it, so we're probably not going to have the house burn down. Probably not. What was happening during all of that? Who knows? Mutas were happening. Upgrades are on the way now for Solar. Ace's 4th base was cancelled, but he has replaced his 4th and is now working his way up to a 5th. That was a very scary move out with the 2 tanks, but it seems like that just wasn't quite enough to continue the ball rolling, not with the Mutas harassing the SCVs. So Clem had to acknowledge it, packed up everything, moved away. And now we're getting ourselves into a decent macro game for both sides. Clem going up to a 4th base. He's got 3 tanks now moving over into Wood of Mines. A Thor being included, I think, is absolutely necessary. I feel like we always have a little bit of a adjustment period to Mutas when they make an appearance again. And a Thor isn't just something that you get when you're really frustrated. I think it's something that you get so you will not be frustrated. Something that Terrans are relearning as more Muta games happen. Very aggressive push deep onto creep. I'm not quite at that 2-2, but it is near finished. Solar not happy with the situation to defend this base. Is just going to move over to his other 4th. 4 SCVs go down to the Muta harassment. 20 Mutas, by the way, with +1 flyer. Moving on to +2 as well. They obviously do not want to tackle the Marines. They don't want to tackle the Thor either, but if they can start picking off some of these tanks, that would be very helpful. If they can take advantage of some of these mini squads of Marines too. The pre-split, then that's fine too. Just anything they can do to help out. Including, but not limited to, just trying to go for their own little run-by, and that seems to be the option right now. Only a single missile turret against that many Mutas ain't going to do very much. It's simply buying time. Maybe this Thor... Yeah, no, not with the Marines also covering it. Just simply loses the Mutas there, and Solar is running out of options. He is trying to get to a hive, but I'm not even sure what he's really going to get from that hive. He wouldn't be able to afford that many ultras, that's for sure, and it would take forever to get the chitinous plating. Just part of the process. If he doesn't die now, he would die later, and it feels like he is dying now. Bailing's trying to crash in. A lot of creep to work with, but not enough Marines going down. The splits are good. The tank covers them to a certain degree. Marines still chasing the Mutas back at home, but a Widowmine even pops off. Muta count down to 12, 11, 10, 9, and that is going to be it. GG's. Clem will win Game 3 and move on to those finals.